In light of our definition of well-coordinated piano technique, I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a few physical habits which I myself had to relinquish. I eliminated them because they wasted my energy, distracted my audience and me from really listening, and even led, in some cases, to strain and injury. The first habit which comes to mind is playing with the shoulders raised, especially when we feel expressive. There's no anatomical reason for this. Raising the shoulders raises the shoulder blades, and to my knowledge, there's no music in our repertory which calls for this little bit of excess. It can also lead to serious and chronic tension throughout the neck and down the arm. So mobility of our joints is lost, and the energy and weight needed to flow through the arms into the key is trapped in those tight muscles. Another habit many of us have is the jutting out of our elbows. Remember, Glenna referred to this as the flying buttress syndrome? We often hold tension in our upper arms in an effort to support the weight of our arms as we play. This type of holding can be effective in sustained, quiet passage work, but it's unnecessary and acts as a kind of roadblock for the energy we want to transfer through the arm. While the upper arms are certainly involved in playing, we learned that the main support of them is in the torso or sternum area, where the arm muscles end. If we support and regulate our arm weight from the torso, then our joints are more free and mobile. Our arms maintain that pendulous quality we discussed. Another habit, which is easy to come by if we don't understand the body mechanism, is articulating with high, flat fingers. This may give us more space between the notes, but we can accomplish that by listening for just what we want and coordinating it from the key. That way, we don't cut off the coordination of our fingers from the rest of our arm. The point of good coordination is to coordinate together the entire arm, hand, and fingers while playing. If we ride the keys, we don't overwork our finger lifting muscles and can usually accomplish our musical aims. High, flat fingers are not really harmful. They're just like lonely little children working without the support of mama, the arm. But high, unnaturally curved fingers are another issue. This habit can lead to serious injury. This habit is usually accompanied by an excessively low or hyperextended wrist. This virtually destroys the ability of the arm arch to function properly because the top of the arch, or apex, collapses and the arm no longer functions as a bridge for transferring weight to the key. Also, excessive tension in the arm and hand muscles eventually paralyzes the fingers and locks the joints in place. This prevents smooth, flowing movement from key to key. The fingers have to keep working against extreme odds. optimal alignment, regaining the natural arm and hand arches and allowing the fingers to just hang from the apex of the arch, frees up the joints of the wrist and fingers and allows for maximum mobility and speed. It also allows the arm to participate and phrase well, as the flow of weight is regulated by the whole arm. Another erroneous notion some of us have is that we must form our hand arch by tightening the hand muscles. This teaching device is often used with little children whose fingers tend to wobble around. Unfortunately, this method of developing the arch begins the child on a long road of excessive and injurious tension. We don't need to form an arch. We already have one built into our skeletal structure. We simply need to maintain it. With children, gentle touch to remind them of that shape usually works, or letting them place their hand gently on top of a small ball or piece of fruit, as we demonstrated earlier, to show them their natural built-in arch. Eventually, the hand and finger muscles develop nicely on their own from supporting more and more weight from the arm lever. If we are truly using our body efficiently, we can rest our hand on the keys in a natural arch without even feeling the little bit of muscle tension we need to support it. Again, it is a question of finding just the right amount of tension, no more, no less. Another finger myth is that we must hold non-playing fingers off the keys as we play. The idea is that the fingers will stumble into the keys uninvited if we don't. Once we learn the phenomenal, subtle skill of directing weight into each finger individually, we don't have to hold up the rest of the fingers. The arm is so beautifully supported by the torso that the whole hand can rest without tension on the keys. The fingers, when playing fast passage work, can just rest on the keys if not playing. Obviously, this saves a lot of energy, both in muscle and in motion. Another common myth is that pianists who are small in stature or have small hands cannot play big repertory. It is true that smaller people are prone to experience more acutely the stresses and strains of malcoordination. But as we've tried to demonstrate, it's more a matter of how we use our bodies, not what we play. If our energies are focused properly, we will have as much power and flexibility as we will ever need. Later, you will see and hear how a pianist who weighs less than 100 pounds is able to play virtuoso repertory with power and ease.